Hello, this is Eric of NotBIOS, and I'm here to talk about computer monitors. And if you like the music in this video, don't forget to check out my affiliate link to audio, and that's the music I've been using, or AE Juice for the sound effects, and you may see some of those emojis. That's all from AE Juice, and those are affiliate accounts to support this channel. Now let's get started. Ultrawide? Don't even bother with ultrawide in console gaming unless you want to see black bars on each side of your screen. However, if you have a regular size screen, you'll notice sometimes some movies have black bars on the top and bottom, and that would be defeated with an ultrawide in that case. So, benefits, losses, it's all up to you, but for consoles, a regular aspect ratio screen is the way to go. So now the MSI MAG322CQ4. This is an IPS at 200 Hz, 30-inch ultra-wide. This is a flat panel, 200 Hz capable. This monitor is not HDR10 certified, 105% of the sRGB color space, giving it a little more pop to the colors. The resolution is 1080p ultra-wide and is about the equivalent to a 27-inch 1080p monitor with a pixel density of 94 pixels per inch. Lacking HDR10 means in game where HDR is enabled by even mistake, well, when using Windows 10 and exiting into Windows, the colors are going to look messed up until reboot unless Microsoft patches this issue. Also, video editing with a regular aspect ratio is much better than using an ultra-wide. Compared to the LG 34GL750, the MSI has slightly more vivid colors, sharper images on screen, is faster for a gaming option, but does not handle HDR content. So giving you a good speed for a budget option. However, you don't have as much of a color palette and you can't push colors as far, you can't get this nice saturation. Sure, the colors pop, it's an IPS, but you can't push things as far, and HDR is a no-go for this particular monitor. Very budget-friendly option, 30-inch ultra-wide. LG 34GL750. This is an ultra-wide IPS gaming monitor, 3800R curved, barely curved at all, 144 Hz. It is HDR10 qualified, which of course this is not great at all for HDR due to its lack of P3 color space, its lack of brightness, and it does not even meet HDR minimum specifications. However, at least if you have your game in HDR mode, your Windows screen should not look messed up. The resolution of this monitor is 1080p. At ultra-wide, this is similar to a 30-inch regular monitor at 1080p resolution, which makes images somewhat soft as in not sharp looking at a large size when close up. This lack of sharpness can be compensated for by sitting at least 3, if not 4 feet away due to its low 82 pixels per square inch density. Ultra-wides, mind you, have a higher resolution than regular monitors. Frame rates will dip by about 15% from a regular 1080p monitor. And one thing though about LG's IPS monitor type is the contrast ratio is a bit on the low side, making blacks look more grayish. So I'm using an image from MSI. I'm on an ultra-wide screen right now. And as you can see, well, if I was a full screen, you can't see me. I can just be shooting at you, like be the enemy on the side. Because if you have a regular size aspect ratio screen, it could be the case you're looking around and trying to figure out what is actually shooting at me. And you can't see them because, well, wider view does help that way. However, things are not always better on ultra-wide. So now in the middle of the ultra-wide screen here, so what's the difference between the regular and this ultra-wide? Well, now let's increase this view here to full size. Well, if you notice, I am now larger. So if you get an ultra-wide screen, every object is going to be smaller. So if you had, say, a 34-inch regular screen and a 34-inch ultra-wide, your images are going to be a lot smaller on the ultra-wide. So if I were a 34-inch regular screen, I might need an ultra-wide of 42 inches in order to make that difference up in terms of what I am as a character size. And of course, ultrawides tend to cost more. There are ones that are more budget, but in terms of price quality, ultrawide is not there yet. You got to pay a premium. Another regular aspect ratio gaming monitor is the MSI MAG322CQR. This particular monitor I reviewed, and of course this one's VA, so it has the highest contrast ratio out of all the monitors, which means it has the deepest blacks and the whitest whites. Makes it particularly good not just for gaming, but for watching movies. Of course, we have one problem. Black uniformity is quite weak in this particular monitor, and other monitors from Gigabyte that are very similar size and from Samsung panels tend to have the same problem with black uniformity, which are kind of poor for black uniformity. It means you have some light showing through, say, top and bottom areas of the panel itself. Well, if you're watching a movie that's black bars on top and bottom, you might notice the light through that, and that could be somewhat distracting. And that's basically where you're going to find any issue with that black uniformity.
This is a VA panel monitor, the only one on this list. At 32-inch regular aspect ratio, having a 1500R curve. For console gaming, we are 1080p confirmed, and Xbox Series X may be able to run at 1440p depending on the console itself. The specification of HDMI 2.0B allows for up to 144 Hz at 1440p resolution. However, Xbox Series X can only do up to 120 Hz. 1440p is also known as 2K resolution. It has a pixel density of 93 pixels per inch. This monitor is HDR10 certified, being VA with a large color palette, larger than any other monitors in this roundup. It is a #1 overall pick for HDR. This monitor has a larger contrast ratio, meaning it can display darker blacks and brighter whites than all the others in this list. It has a DCI-P rating of 96% and 124% of the sRGB coverage, making it HDR clearly superior to all other value picks in this roundup. And scrolling a black web page with white text is going to look better overall on all IPS monitors. IPS monitors have better side viewing angles than VA panels. However, none of the IPS monitors on this list can meet the image quality, color, or contrast of this particular monitor. The higher contrast makes this monitor the best for watching movies, gaming, and for photo editing, but for best accuracy, it needs calibration. Colors out of the box are good, but slightly saturated, and contrast is slightly on the dark side.
So in my previous budget monitors video for top gaming monitors of 2021, we still have the Gigabyte M27Q. So this particular monitor is actually very good for an option. If you're looking for something that's quite fast, it's not an ultra-wide, rather regular aspect ratio, and will work great for consoles. Even at 1080p, being only 27 inches, you don't have to worry about images being kind of blurry at 1080p resolution.
The refresh rate is 170 Hz. It has great image sharpness at 1440p with its 109 pixels per inch. It provides the sharpest image of all the monitors on this list. This one should also work with 1080p just fine, as well as the possibility of Xbox Series X at 1440p gaming. The color profile is the second best in this roundup in DCI P3 coverage at 92% and 140% of sRGB coverage, which could lead to saturated non-HDR content. This monitor is weak with HDR content, but it is the second best overall in this roundup. For someone looking for a monitor that's straight to the point, that is not really good at everything, but decent at everything, this is a good happy medium choice. Now to round up the monitors in this list. For best budget gaming ultra-wide monitor, #1 goes to the MSI MAG322CQ4. A custom refresh rate of 180 Hz may be needed
if you want to have the overall best experience. The best overall monitor is the MSI MAG322CQR. However, some people may not like the lack of black uniformity. You may also prefer the bigger, larger viewing angles of IPS, where VA panels fall short overall. The best overall gaming IPS is the Gigabyte M27Q. It's not the best at anything other than sharpness, but it is good at everything overall. The LG 34GL750 wins for best value large gaming ultra-wide monitor in this roundup. LG monitors tend to be good with keeping color banding under control. This unit does not excel at anything other than value. This is the MAG 301CR2, and of course the black smearing is unacceptable in this monitor. There are ways to tweak it so it's decent, but it's just not up to par. That's an MSI monitor. The RF version, of course, the IPS, this is the VA, and this here is the MAG 322CQR, which is actually quite the nice monitor. Of course, the one thing I found about budget gaming monitors, they tend not to be quite as good on the quality control, and a lot of the panels are actually using this same Samsung-based panel. So if you look at affordable VA monitors that are around 32 inch or 31.5 inches, you'll see 165 hertz like crazy VA, all Samsung panels. And my next gaming monitor is going to be a mid-high range gaming monitor. It's going to be Quantum Dot. Whether I get the VA or the IPS version, I'm going to find out soon, and look for that review to come out in about a month and a half, as well as my mid to high-end range gaming monitor Roundup for 2022 come out in about a month and a half. Microphone that's used for game streaming, presentations, podcasts, and another one that's great for educators that's wireless, and another one that's a dual lav. And some of these reviews are going to be on my Not BIOS studio. You're watching Not BIOS Tech and Hardware. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day.
This is Not BIOS Tech and Hardware.